There is an absolute ton of games out there, from really awesome to really normal to really bad. We can't play them all, let alone know about every single one of them, so I've compiled a list of 10 absolutely awesome games that you should play at least once in your life, especially right now in 2023 and beyond. And some of them you might not even know about. So let's get into it right away, and if you found one game to play in this list, or if you agree with me, make sure you drop a like onto this video. First of all, we have Kingdom Come: Deliverance, one of my favorite games of all time. A medieval masterpiece where every single gameplay and story element is respected, and all in the name of realism. But of course, it's also fun. This experience is praised for its commitment to historical accuracy and realism, and how it created its world with such care and passion, with a really fun story that is believable as well. It transports players to medieval Bohemia with painstaking attention to details in terms of architecture, clothing, language, and way of life. The realism isn't just in the world but in the combat, which as you die extremely fast if you make the wrong move, just like in real life. The combat itself is either praised or hated, and it is so unforgiving, but that's what makes it so unique. Imagine GTA but in medieval times, and Kingdom Come might be the closest game to that. The game's main story is filled with fun things to do and varied missions with a strong central character and a complex narrative that engages players in a morally grey world where you can do about anything you want. Enter people's houses, steal their stuff, attack guards for no reason, find secrets, and so on. Next up, we have Spec Ops: The Line. This right here is one of the games that became much more popular years after it released, because people realized what its whole story and premise actually was. It is recognized as one of the most thought-provoking games that ever existed, where you play as the bad guys without knowing until the very end. You're given orders by your superiors, you just follow the rules, but as the story goes on, the main characters slowly start to realize the horrors that is done and what that entails for him and the survivors of this world. The game is taking place in a post-apocalyptic war-torn Dubai, and as you explore its destroyed buildings to find survivors and see what they're doing here, only for you and your team to end up killing them, all of them, even their families. It is done in such cruel ways, but for the narrative to unfold, it had to be done. Spec Ops has been described by its creators as an horror game and not an action game, because it delves into the psychological effects of warfare on soldiers and the choices they have to make.
Fine, set it up.
You're fucking kidding, right? That's white phosphorus.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You've seen what this shit does. You know we
We might
can't
not have a
use it.
choice, Lugo.
There's always a choice.
You brought this on yourself.
We were helping.
What?
Next up, we have Deep Rock Galactic, one of the most fun co-op games that you can ever play at the moment, and has been this way for years now, and has earned a really special place in players' hearts for its perfect fusion of cooperative teamwork and inventive gameplay. The game's premise of dwarven miners exploring procedurally generated alien caves is captivating, offering a truly fresh take on the shooter genre that had been missing for a long time around the time that it released. The community behind this game is different, it's special, because it is one of the most loyal group that I've ever witnessed, supporting the game since the beginning and giving support, ideas, and being super friendly to newcomers. Of course, its developers are awesome as well, listening to every single player feedback for bugs, new content, and such. It is also making sure every single update, DLC, and expansion is free for everyone, so all of us can get in on the fun. Don't just listen to me, take a look at its overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, which is actually rare for an FPS game. Next up, we have Metro Exodus. Every FPS fan has to play this stunning post-apocalyptic action horror game once in their life. It is filled with unique and awesome missions, different monsters to fight, tons of actions and bandits to kill, and crafted semi-open world environments to explore, and an atmosphere that is out of this world. Over the course of the story, you'll be traveling inside a train, which is already full of little details and people to talk to, but you'll also be discovering new locations every single time, from snowy mountains, harsh deserts, forests, forest, destroy cities, and so on. At its core though, Metro Exodus is loved for its atmospheric, post-apocalyptic setting in the Moscow metro system and the harsh Russian wilderness. There is no beating this. It's one of the most impressive games that I've seen, and I can get lost in it for hours on end. The game excels at creating a sense of dread and isolation. Next up we have Kane and Lynch 2. Now this game has been either loved or hated. I don't think there's an in between, but what I absolutely loved about it is how it tried something different and stood out from the norms of the time with action games. This game is ugly, it's glitchy, it's disgusting, and it's brutal, and it's all been made on purpose by its developers because they wanted people to know how violence really feels like. You're killing endless people, but it's taking a toll on you and its characters, and it doesn't feel awesome like with other games. While some players appreciate this game, others find it lacking in various aspects like the length of the game and the controversial elements, though it is praised for its unique visual style resembling shaky cam documentary footage, which adds to the game's frenetic atmosphere. Additionally, its focus on the morally flawed and deeply human protagonists, Kane and Lynch, offers a departure from more conventional video game characters. Next up we have Hypercharge Unbox, one of the coolest underrated games you could play at the moment, and it is still so overlooked but so fun. The game itself is beloved by players for its nostalgic charm, combining classic toy aesthetics with frenetic first-person action shooter. The game offers a unique and imaginative experience as players are shrunken down to the size of toy soldiers, battling through creatively designed environments like bedrooms and kitchens. There's a campaign, a PvP, and a cooperative multiplayer mode, which is its standout feature, encouraging teamwork as players defend against waves of enemy toys. Next up we have Mafia Definitive Edition, an awesome remake of the very first game in the series, which shows care, respect, and attention to details for every single part of the open world and its story. The developers even added more missions and content into it, which is always appreciated. The game itself combines an intense narrative and story that I absolutely love because of how classic it feels. It also has well-developed characters and a faithful reimagining of the original Mafia game, offering a nostalgic experience for longtime fans and a fresh one for newcomers. Its stunning visuals, cinematic storytelling, and period authentic soundtrack contribute to its allure, making players feel like they've stepped into a classic gangster film, remade for the new-gen consoles. Next up we have Chivalry 2, what is in my opinion the best medieval multiplayer fighting game there is. It offers true all-out war medieval siege with 64 players in massive maps with castles, forests, deserts, villages, and so on. Its accessible yet skill-based gameplay along with a variety of classes and weapons allows for diverse and strategic combat approaches, and the game also has a humor-infused atmosphere replete with an absolute ton of serious, normal, and very funny voice lines and absurdities, which adds a unique charm to the brutality of medieval warfare and creates a completely different atmosphere than, let's say, serious medieval games. But that's what makes it so fun and also what keeps it alive. It's the fact that players can communicate together with these voice lines and create so many different scenarios. Next up we have Max Payne 3, a third-person action masterpiece created by Rockstar Games. Of course, this might be one of the best games, which made the slow motion action aspect so popular and wanted by players because it is such a fun feature in this one game here. You cannot stop doing it even though it doesn't need it some of the time. The attention to details is insane and proves Rockstar's work. The game's iconic bullet time gameplay mechanic, improved gunplay, and intense shootouts have been refined, offering a thrilling and satisfying gameplay experience. And this game also retains the essence of the series while evolving it, earning it a place in players' hearts as a compelling and visually striking war masterpiece. Finally, we have my special favorite game, which is still very much alive and filled with new updates, Holdfast Nations at War. This game is one of the most fun experiences I have ever played in my life. Myself not being really interested in the Napoleonic War or anything of the sort, I found myself falling in love with this experience. There's one thing that makes this game stand out and why it is still live after so many years is the proximity voice chat. If you search on YouTube, you'll find plenty of content creators like myself that have made funny moment videos on this game because it is just one of the funniest games that you can play right now, in my opinion. I feel like every single online player in this game has their story to tell through voice chat. One will be shouting and screaming insults at the enemy the whole game. One is being an epic leader by leading a regiment to war.
Just take a step forward.
Holy shit.
One is destroying people's ear with bad music. One is talking to himself. One is racist. One is very friendly and will want to be your friend. And one will just say nothing even though he has a mic. There's just so much life to Holdfast. I sincerely hope it never dies because the moments that you can have in it is out of this world. It's actual memories that I will never forget.
Your property is being seized by the state.
What for? What's it being seized for? Being seized for? Hello, I see you, sir.
I won. Guys, come the right.
For more videos just like this one on games that you have to play, make sure you guys like this video right now and of course subscribe and let me know.
Instead of another room, in rocky countryside. From behind a large pile of rocks, he could see smoke rising. Feeling brave in his red armor,